The Office of International Programs at University of Wyoming facilitates global learning opportunities for UW student body and international students who want to study on our campus. Here are the interviews of Ruth and Brian.
The International Office serves all majors on UW's campus, and students, we have bilateral agreements with over 40 different universities. Several of them might be in the same country, but we cover all of the European Union. We have bilateral agreements in Southeast Asia, in Asia, and in some of the former Soviet Union, as well as in Russia. So, and in Central and South America, as well as Mexico. So there's almost no place that students can't find to be able to go.
Why did you choose to go to South Korea?
My grandfather fought in the Korean War, and so there was ties there, and so my grandmother had been telling me about Korea a little bit, as well as just, my general area of study really focused on, Korea was mainly a big part of that. I filled out the application and, turned it in. I sort of felt, like, okay, well, there's probably a lot of people who are applying for this, and, and then a couple days later, they, email me and they say, we want to award it to you. And I was like, whoa.
South Korea now is, and especially Seoul, with the growth that they've had in Southeast Asia, with the robust economy that they've had over there, it's one of the leading cities in the 21st century. So for us to have that opportunity to go over there, it's fully funded. We either give 4 or 5 scholarships to University of Wyoming students, where we pay everything to come and visit your university for that month in the summer.
I really didn't know what to expect. I was going from a town where I grew up in a town of 3,000 people, and then, in Laramie with 13,000 people, to the city of Seoul, which is however many millions of people. It's huge. And, I've been down to Denver, but Seoul's a lot bigger than Denver. So it was really sort of an interesting experience.
The world is becoming more and more of a global place. People are going to be expected to work with other lab technicians from around the world. Anything that we as Americans might know about their culture that makes us a little bit more comfortable with a stranger, anything that we could say in their language to make them feel a little more welcome.
I'm studying Asian culture for international studies, but I really didn't, and they told us all about how it's a collectivist culture and how Confucianism applies. But you don't understand that until you go there and you experience that, the differences and how everything works. So I learned a lot about how the South Korean culture works, and a lot about living in a different environment. I never knew that when you go to Korea, the way that you pick where to go out to eat, it's the oldest person in the group, just bar none. And that's not something that happens here. And so if we would go out and there would be Americans in the group, who weren't really knowledgeable of this, and they'd say, let's go there, and they're younger, it creates a conflict.
How can these opportunities be helpful for students?
Academic education to do comparisons, but also these opportunities are going to play out on their resumes and for future employment.
I know that when I go off to a job, I'm going to experience a lot of different cultures, both international cultures, for instance, Asian culture, European culture, American culture in business, but I'm also going to be putting myself in a very foreign experience there, where I'm the new guy, and there's a bunch of old people who know the system, who expect certain things. Learning how to try and acclimate yourself to a foreign environment, I feel, has a lot of a lot of abilities in terms of the smoother and the more practice you get in those situations, the better you're going to be able to be an employee at a company, work with a group, just so many different aspects to where that very general situation of going somewhere foreign has a lot of benefit.
I came here as an exchange student from South Korea, and I will be returning this May. And this year has been so valuable for me. I hope more students can participate in this meaningful experience.